Thanks, Eunice. African nations are advancing rapidly, especially over the past decade, driven by commodities and growing consumer demand. The investment opportunities and potential for business as a result has never been stronger. At the Africa Global Business Forum currently underway here in Dubai, one focus is developing Africa's 21st century workforce. The African population is forecast to double over the next 35 years. The continent will need innovative new approaches to everything, from an ever-increasing eager young generation who have high expectations.
I can advise the young people to be more daring, to go into business and to try and think about problems and think about the solutions. They have the tools. They have gone to school, they have gone to universities, they have technical know-how and so on. But the key is the government, first of all, with good governance to try and help this youth to develop all these capacities.
Research organisation African Economic Outlook says that in the youth labour market of 36 African countries, there's a 54% mismatch between the skills of job seekers and employers' requirements. With the population changes expected, the skills gap is forecast to grow wider.
Small steps have been taken. Some small vocational institutes all across the countries that I work has come up. But I still believe there is a big gap as we are talking, because the requirement for the industries, for the skills is a lot bigger than what we are now getting from the countries. So as I said, there has to be an absolute focus approach to bring the skill development out of these people.
Africa's dynamic growth is not only driven by established companies, but now very much by innovative youth-led entrepreneurship and the private sector.
Africa's growth impetus has really come from a blend of actors. Of course, the governments have been quite critical in driving public infrastructure build, and often this has been in partnership with the private sector. But ultimately, Africa realizes that capital is within the realms of the private sector. Skills is within the ambit of the private sector. So the private sector's encouragement in Africa is going to be rooted in secure private property rights, a good business environment, and being able to deploy capital for commercial return. That is the only way, and many African countries appreciate that, even if their steps will be tentative and careful in embracing the private sector.
China's recent slowdown might be seen to leave Africa vulnerable, but it's also opened up massive investment potential for greater inflows of capital from other countries. There's also renewed optimism about new sources of income, including private equity and sukuks.